Okay, so I may have just accidentally, on purpose, killed one of the most important characters in all of Guild Wars history.
Whoops.
Why, you may ask? Bro, Sidon, I was after that sweet bonus objective, and technically she dies later. So maybe I'm just speeding up the timeline. No judgment.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Surprisingly, I am morally okay with this because, well, it gave me experience. Your booing means nothing. I've seen what you cheer for. So for those of you who don't know, I've been playing Guild Wars 1 because I am trying to unlock the Fiery Dragon Sword in Guild Wars 2. To do so, you have to complete one of the main campaigns and earn a whole bunch of other achievements. This is my journey. We pick up our tale after spending about 5 days weeping over the stress that Aurora Glade caused us because seriously, F this jungle. I hate this place. I have some new abilities and I read the effing comments. Oh my god, if I see one more person tell me that, oh, you shouldn't have to have Charm Pet on your hotbar, hot damn. That was 90% of the comments. Nobody even cared about the video, just wanted to correct me, you jerks. I calmly removed that from my bar and replaced it with Signet of Capture, which is pretty cool is because I can use that capture on an ability from any of the mobs that are my profession. I probably should have been doing this earlier anyway, but hey, at least I'm not some noob who didn't read the tooltips and kept Charm Pet on his bar for a while. Well, we are progressing through this hellish jungle by killing some trolls and stuff, and I'm still a bit under-leveled here, but that's okay because I'm basically carrying the group with my Giga Chad twink body. Apply Poison has been one of the best abilities that I have picked up now because I can basically apply 2 different dots. Between the poison from my Apply Poison ability and bleeding from my pet, it's a win-win. I fight through the rest of this foliage and cannon fodder to get to this old man who takes me on a boat ride, which honestly, I should probably ask more questions before I get on Charon's boat. I'm just saying, I have the survival instincts of like a pickle at this rate. I will fight anyone who says otherwise. This first mission requires us to run through this whole instance and steal the Scepter of Ore from the White Mantle, which honestly should be no problem because they're mostly paper people anyway. I mean, I view stealth missions in 2 ways. Either nobody saw you at all, or there was nobody left to see you. Guess which way I played? Well, I pull this massive group of people, and let me just say, the burst from 4 of these White Mantle Knights is absolutely absurd. I get slapped harder than Chris Rock did, and I get a quick res, but it just feels like this meme from Iron Man.
Stay down. Final warning.
Because immediately I get KO'd again. Good God, they ripped through me. Well, after some mild tribulation, I work all the way through this instance, killing a ton of mobs, which honestly, I just needed to get the defeated buff off of me. And I get to the end and I see this Ranger Elite, and he goes down like a chunky kid on a seesaw. And now I see that I can use Signet of Capture, and he really doesn't have anything good, save for Savage Shot. I mean, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. But I went through this place and I never saw the damn scepter. Apparently, I am supposed to meet up with a buddy and take the scepter away from him. After watching some YouTube videos and stress culling the undead and White Mantle assets, I finally find our boy Dinas. Remember that guy who we were yelling at with our mask on? Well, yeah, now he's an informant for us. Which honestly, I was just hoping that he would put pants on at this point of the story. I mean, come on. For some reason, this cutscene looks like I am riding my wolf into battle. Anyway, some White Mantle guard sees us and tries to rally against us. So, like, honestly, how did we not know that these guys were the baddies? Well, since I have basically cleared out most of these mobs anyway, I just say F it and let's run. This guy makes a big point about how the White Mantle will stop anyone that tries to steal from them. But then, like, the first group doesn't even bother to chase us. Like, it's really not that difficult. I don't have to fight any of you guys. Y'all can't stop me at this point, and I run right past them. And somehow we blow up the bridge. But anyway, listen to this. These dummies are shouting huzzah on the bridge for it being down. Like, I know that they were supposed to be mad, but these animations and them cheering, well, I mean, like, listen. What are you all doing, man? Oh my goodness. Well, anyway, Muscle Mommy meets us and damn, she's a cutie. Well, we are apparently to give this scepter to Vizier Kill Braun, which I am like 100% is the Undead Lich. I'm pretty sure it's the same voice actor. Anyway, well, Sidra says, hey, how's our boy Marcus? And much how I approach most situations that are pressed to me. What? We get put up against our next mission, Sanctum Cay. Apparently, we have to get the scepter to the Vizier and escape on the docks on the other side. Honestly sounds super sketchy. Or had already been destroyed, I'm pretty sure at this point, and now you want us to give it to like the only survivor? Something smells like a load of shit. Anyway, we wind our way through this massive map fighting imps and these huge executioners. Like, they hit really damn hard, but honestly, they're so damn squishy. They're like nothing but flesh and armor. They're body bags. Well, after all of these undead are buried once again, we have to deal with the White Mantle again, which honestly, at this point, I'm just like sick of you guys. Like, at this point, you should have lost already. You should have realized that you've gotten. How have you not gotten the point? This mission was going great up until we start getting boned.
Daddy, chill.
And by boned, I mean dragon boned. Apparently, just randomly throughout this zone is bone dragons, and they have 2 large legs and decrepit wings, but somehow move with the speed of Usain Bolt on cocaine. Who designed this creepy ass mob, man? Well, we now have to deal with a poisonous swamp as well as these boys, which really isn't that big of a problem, except it puts 2 different dots on us. Poison from the swamp and then some kind of extra malaise that deals like -7 condition damage over time. This is terrible because then the malaise spreads to nearby allies who haven't been infected. Jesus, this is 2020 all over again. Well, I make the call to rush to this one elite dragon and pull everyone out of the swamp so they don't die to the poison. But like every single one of my ranged casters and healers sits directly in the swamp. I can't help them, guys. I really can't. Also, at this point, they run directly over to another bone dragon and pull it while we are killing the boss.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Like, I love my henchmen, but holy hell, can you guys put your brain cells together and figure out that y'all are embarrassing me here? Well, we somehow survive, which is great because it was a little touchy here and there, and we get the scepter to the Vizier. Someone tell me how this man already has the scepter before I give it to him. Like, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, Jafar here starts talking about how happy he is, and then he informs us that Marcus is indeed a traitor, and then informs us that Muscle Mommy has been kidnapped and our boat is broken.
I'm surrounded by idiots.
I'm sorry. If this guy was really all that powerful, why couldn't he have just killed out all the White Mantle? Like, I'm just saying, at this point, we should have realized that he was a baddie. Well, he is like, don't fear the undead, and summons a bunch of undead, and I know he's marked as a necromancer, but are we like going to acknowledge the fact that he's just basically straight up evil lich? Like, it's not that hard. Don't put crap under my nose and then tell me it's lavender. Well, all the undead charge in because they're basically cannon fodder, and then they don't last any longer than I did when I started watching the Twilight series, so they fail us again. We kill about 100 more White Mantle before we get to the beach, and now we have to wait for Jafar to actually summon our ride, which, honestly, dude, like, come the hell on. You were supposed to be, like, all powerful and showing us all these things, but to me, you're just basic. It takes, like, homeboy 10 minutes to summon this damn boat while we're out here slaying legions of White Mantle. And at some point, you would think that they would just like run out of troops. Like, from a strategic standpoint, wouldn't the death of 3/4 of your army be a cause for a concern and perhaps a tactical retreat? Like, hey, I don't think we should send any more soldiers because these guys aren't dying. It kind of reminds me of the Taken movie series. Like, homeboy kills like their entire crime family and they're all like, we will not let this disrespect happen. Like, geez, Luigi, that's you and 2 other guys left. Like, what do you mean? Finally, Arabian Nights raises the boat and then tells us that we must go to the desert, which, I'm sorry, who the f are you to tell us where to go? You are helping us. Well, we sound all weak and, what are we gonna do? And then he says, go to the desert and ascend. Find the prophet and claim the true sight. Like, dude, you are full of shit. Why do we keep trusting these random ass people? Oh my God. So now I am in the desert in this godforsaken place, and now I have to deal with more scarabs and bugs, and this is worse than the jungle. Good gracious, I hate all these places. Well, I have to be judged, and no, not on my stuffed animal collection, but to see if I can ascend. One of my favorite things about this area is that you have this portal and you have to kind of play like a pattern game, which is exactly what I need. Everything here wants to kill me, but let's play f***ing bop it. While I work my way through this terrible place to get to Augury Rock, where we will ascend, which honestly is, I like this because the Guild Wars 2 references here are pretty cool. I mean, the Elon Riverlands have the meta event for the Doppelganger and Augury Rock, so I don't know. I like consistency, let me just say. Well, now I am lost. I have to figure out where the next missions are. There are no maps. It is time to simply wander around the desert to figure it out. Fuck this game, man. At first, I kept a positive head and said, let me explore a bit. But after getting chastised by approximately 4,000 Jurassic Park ripoffs, I said, fuck this, I actually need a map. So for me to open up Augury Rock, I need to complete 3 separate missions that are in this area. So my idea is simply to find all 3 of them and then do all 3 missions. Okay, no problem. Because I was just so happy to work through the desert, I walked right past where one of the mission locations was without actually getting the teleport location. This place is terrible. Well, 40 minutes later, I have to run all the way back after getting smacked by dinosaurs that launch meteors, stegodons for some reason, that are earth mages, and more of these creepy Carl. Who designed this place? After a brief rage fit, I finally get to Alona Reach. 1 has been completed. So I work my way south dealing with some of these desert griffins, which y'all gonna be mounts here in about 20 years, you bitches. The second mission, Dunes of Despair, has been found. Well, on my way to the 3rd location, I run into a group of 3 hydras. And for some reason, my healer and protection henchmen go down immediately, and then somehow we aggro every single nearby pack of hydras. Like, even without their meteor cast, this is absurd. I can res Alessia here, who only is alive for about like 3 seconds because the spam cast of meteor. I have a choice to run back, but I just choose to die. I thought the jungle was bad, but oh my god, this place is so much worse. Like, it doesn't get any better. I die, and we get spawned right next to the Scar with no less than 2 packs of Hydras literally sitting right next to the respawn. They are spawn camping me at this point.
Am I a joke to you?
Well, after the equivalent of crying an actual river, I finally get to the thirsty river. Now I can finally start these frickin' missions. I start out with a loner reach. Apparently, I have to bring vision crystals. To this ghostly hero. Doesn't seem all that difficult, but what makes it a little bit more stressful than a chicken caught at Popeyes is that it is on a 30-minute timer when you deliver the first crystal. Once you received, you have 30 minutes to go and collect the other 2 crystals, which I was already struggle busting, and now I have a timer of all things. This game is the bane of my existence. Well, we drop off the crystal, and now we have to fight living armor and sneaky snakes to get to the other crystals, but put quite literally in the middle of my path are these bombs. Massive bombs that cripple and bleed. It's just interesting. Why would you put a bomb right there? You a terrorist? Well, what's interesting is that most of the creatures here are like nearly 10 levels higher than me, because why the hell wouldn't they be? And I'm starting to see elite skills, which is cool. So like in Guild Wars 2, you have an elite skill that you can use, but you can only choose one, and you can only have one on your bars. If I remember correctly, Guild Wars 1 has a ton of different elite skills. Actually, I'm starting to really understand why Guild Wars 1 players have kind of a disdain for Guild Wars 2.
I get it.
Why pigeonhole us only into a few choices? Well, like Whacking Day, I kill all the snakes at a 3-mile radius to get to the vision crystal, and this one was no problem. Actually, it seems fairly straightforward. Returned easy money. The next one, however, is so stupid because all of the patrols meet up at joint occasions. And I've said this before, once there are 2 healers in the fight at the same time, you can't do enough damage to bring them down. You don't have enough interrupt. 2 of these sages get together, and now they can spam heal forever. Not to mention that they have elite skills that are on like a 3-second timer for some reason, countdown for some reason. It's fruitless. I let some of my team die and just run away and reset because what the hell was I supposed to do? I was supposed to be the hero in this journey, but I'm getting rocked like I got into a fight with Mike Tyson. Well, I res my dead allies and then make a beeline for this individual group because hell with these guys. And I work through the rest of the way to get to the vision crystal. Fairly easy. I wait for the snaky boys to pad away and run by them because I hate this place. This sucks. Yay, we get the complete of the crystal. Yay, end my torment. Next I do is Thirsty River, and I am having to fight essentially groups of all kinds of enemies. Like they each represent one of the professions, and not to mention that on a 2-minute timer, their enemy priest will res everyone in that grouped section if you don't kill that priest. I actually really like this one, and it made me feel a little bit more risky while adding the artificial difficulty of the timer. Well, we kill some of the sand giants leading up to it because why the hell not? It gives us a morale boost to kill these guys who quite literally weren't bothering anyone. They were just kind of out and enjoying their day. I have to kill Gosh Alish team and the enemy priest in under 2 minutes. And the mobs really here aren't any issue, but now there's a healer and a boss in the background and we have to deal with it. 40 seconds on the clock. I move all of my allies to stand directly on top of this priest, and we kill them fairly quickly with like 30 seconds to spare. And then we deal with the Mesmer boss here. But I'm sorry, I know I picked Mesmer as a second profession, but we really are annoying. Good gracious. The next section has 2 enemy teams that we have to deal with. And again, there's the 2-minute timer for rezzing. This time, for some reason, the ghost here actually is assisting us, which made me be like, dude, what were you doing before? Can you just interrupt the heals? That's all I really care about. That would be great. All right, so we got 50 seconds to kill the priest and an elementalist boss. Okay, well, I sit directly on the boss trying to make the group focus on him and getting closer and closer. Finally, he dies with 15 seconds left on the clock, but thank goodness no more reses will occur. That was really too close for my comfort, honestly. Like, why do they got to make this stressful? Since I want to have as much time as possible, I basically AFK waiting for the ticking time to get to about 4 minutes so then I can just rush the next group. It actually feels like so much longer because I'm just like standing still. But the bonus objective here is to finish off all of the enemies that are here before the ghost in the middle runs away. Like, listen, dude, I'm not even paying attention to you. You're already dead. Like, I don't know. I'm not here to be your rescuer. Talk to the Grim Reaper, Grenth. I gotta end these guys as quickly as possible so don't distract me. Well, the warrior boss goes down faster than a corn dog down my throat, and now I am trying to do a big pull. We are gonna pull all these guys along with the ranger elite. Not only is the priest getting worked down, but we kill all the other mobs, and we actually look like we knew what we were doing. And finally, my henchman made me proud. Well, the priest is dead, and it's pretty straightforward from here. I brought Signet Capture, which means I can get my first elite skill, Marksman's Wager. This allows me to get energy back anytime my arrows hit their target, or I lose energy if they miss. Y'all know I'm a gambling man.
That was cringe.
Well, because this took a bit longer, I'm waiting for the timer to get closer to 6 minutes before I pull, and then it's go time. Now, this one is going to be a pain. The enemy priest with a monk profession boss. 2 healers means that we are basically effing dead. I don't know what we're going to do here. But we clear out the trash, so it is just solely the boss and the priest, and we stack straight on top of the priest and somehow get the interrupts just right, and we get the kill. And this is stressful because I'm basically hoping that the computer will do their job. That's all I'm doing. Is I'm just hoping the computer and the henchmen will actually figure out how to press their buttons. Well, we win, and King Kamar gives us the bonus, which inadvertently I'm like, hey, I'm actually pretty good at this game. Look at me go. Now we have Dunes of Despair. We have to hold out while the ghostly hero reclaims his throne, which I'm sorry, I thought I was the main character here. Why are me and my basically unnamed henchmen all just side pieces here? Doesn't make a damn bit of sense. Anyway, this one's a bit more tedious than anything because the mobs aren't difficult to kill. You just have to kind of like wait for them to spawn and then to kill them. All the while you're assailed by siege worms who for some reason are the tankiest damn creatures in this entire game. Well, we kill the guards and the enemy ghostly hero here and we're good to go. And we wait. It's only 10 minutes, but like waiting on these damn mobs to get within range is obnoxious. Oh my God.
Boring.
On top of that, the worms, for whatever reason, can't be like directly hit by melee, so most of my group is out of the question. Like, I don't know. They only hit for like 30 damage with their worm siege, so it's really not that big of a deal, and they don't really cast fast enough for me to think that it would be a big deal. I don't know. This mission was easy, but apparently the bonus objective I read up on this is that you got to go and like kill a general somewhere. And each time you kill some of the mobs leading up to them, they spawn more mobs to attack your ghostly hero, which is really cool. All right, obnoxiously boring quest out of the way. Now I'm ready to ascend. Apparently this is a solo mission. Only me and Royd Rage get to go into Augury Rock and face our trial. Well, the intro cinematic is pretty cool because the mountain opens for us and we enter, and it's exactly like what they put into Guild Wars 2, which is honestly awesome. Ugh, consistency. Well, the mission is for me to defeat my doppelganger, which I'm expecting to be an incredibly difficult fight. Nope. I apply poison and interrupt his heal cast, and he's dead. Is this what I bring to the table? Am I truly that useless? Oh my God, I've never felt more disrespected. I'm such a weak little bitch. Well, we get teleported to the Dragon's Lair, the last mission here in the desert, and I get boosted to level 20, which is honestly radical. I just really needed that push because I was like still 17 or something. I don't know. So now we have to go through and kill all these facets to meet Glint. Quite literally one of the most important characters in Guild Wars history. Like, instrumental to everything that we basically did through the Dragon Saga up until this point. We enter in a definitely not suspicious portal, and we were faced with a new challenge in each one of these open new areas. The first area gives us a permanent dot, and let me just say, fuck you for whoever designed this, but I have to admit it's so much easier because we now are capable of having a party of 8 instead of 6. So I grab up Claude and Orion and we have some DPS cooking now. It's pretty good. Well, we get to the Facet of Light and it's a monk style character. GG, no problem, easy, clap. I don't even know what the problem was here. Next, we get to the Facet of Nature where everyone is moving 50% slower. Great, now I get to hobble around like a partially blind penguin. Oy. Well, this zone isn't all that bad either, but it's mostly bow mobs, and the slow speed is just really killing the vibes, yo. Nature goes down, easy clap. Also, I'd like to just take a minute and appreciate that the Herald from Guild Wars 2 basically has these different facets as its skills. I'm just saying, I really like that. Well, the next zone is the Mesmer zone, and we face the Facet of Chaos, which honestly, let's be serious, theater kids are all evil. Well, it's mostly crystal spiders that are around here, and they don't really do anything to provide a challenge. These mobs are all made of paper, and now I have 8 people. So I'm actually feeling my oats here, feeling my balls in most of my pulls. Even at the end, I accidentally pulled like the entire room, like 6 to 8 Mesmers and the boss, and we really had no issue whittling them down and defeating the dragon easy. No problem. Now the Domain of Energy against the Facet of Darkness. The Necromancers in Darkness. Emos. We only have a -1 energy regen, which I'm like, okay, Marksman Wager makes all this so much easier. All the necromancers in this place are short work, and honestly, having a large party, it's just cake, man. Dragon Facet gets absolutely rocked, and now we deal with the Elementalist in the domain of elements. Essentially, this whole place has environmental issues, like areas of just random storms. But honestly, this one could have used more work. Little danger, my dude. Facet of elements. Are you down? You're practicing downstate for Guild Wars 2 Elementalist, aren't you? Yeah, you are. Lastly, we face the Facet of Strength. So this one was interesting. At timed intervals, the ground would shake, knocking everyone down for about like 3 seconds. That's actually pretty cool. It actually made me slower pace. I didn't want to pull something huge and then get knocked on our asses, and then the mobs get free kills while we were down on our faces. Fighting the Facet was actually no problem. I was expecting more out of these guys, but apply poison, interrupt the healing signet. It was a little challenge. And now we finally meet the Crystal Dragon Glint. She has been waiting for us. She tells us that we are all chosen and super special. Basically, what we find out is that Maban, or Mursat spellcasters, are leading the White Mantle, and basically their gods are Harry Potter. Our friends ran into the southern Shiver Peaks, and now we have to go and save them, but then she tells us that we have to literally go into hell in the Ring of Fire. I know where this is going. Jeez. She opens up a portal to take us to Shiver Peaks and then rushes us out. Well, I look around and I touch one of her eggs, and guess what? Now she is an enemy. Like, yo dog, chill. I was just touching, I was kidding. I was just touching the egg. And Glint is level 31? What the f? Well, we start throwing hands with literally the most important character in this entire game, but then she uses Jagged Crystal Skin and it completely annihilates all of the melees in our group. Like, they get absolutely wrecked. Our healers are constantly churning out these reses, and somehow we're working her down. Not quite sure, but our group stays afloat and we kill Glint. I'm not sure that this is a good thing, man. Like, we killed Glint, who was like not supposed to die here for a while. What if I said I'm sorry?